Good morning, happy Monday, everybody. Bill here. Got a nice overcast morning here in Orange County, California. I'm feeling good today, man. I feel damn good, man. I do. Got some good sleep, good breakfast. Well, I'll spare you. You know what I was gonna say. Anyways, I was, watching YouTube this morning and TV, the news, and I hear a lot of complaining about Trump when it comes to homeless. He's trying to, they're saying that he wants to instead of give homeless people a free apartment or a house, give them a free house. He wants to build these camps, right? These homeless camps, which if you really think about it, us taxpayers, we have to pay for them. We have to pay for those free pads, and everything that they get from the government comes out of our taxes, man. And when you crunch the numbers, it's really just bogging down everything. Free pads for homeless. I don't think that they actually deserve a free place. You have to earn a pad, man. Come on. Everyone has to work to keep their place. Why should anybody else that don't work, that are full-bodied, able-bodied to work, why should they get the same thing that working people get? We have to suffer every day to get our asses up, go deal with the job, deal with all the stress and bullshit that comes with working, just so we can have the same thing they get for free. Okay? To me, that just doesn't seem fair. It doesn't. And it's just way too expensive to be giving people that are irresponsible or whatever the reason they're homeless, whatever the reason. It could be a lot of different reasons, but it's just way too expensive to be giving them free houses and all expenses paid. When you crunch the numbers, it's outrageous. Okay, so I'm hearing that Trump, instead of doing that, wants to make these camps, okay, that are a lot a lot more economical. Okay. Yeah, they might not be as comfortable as a Section 8 house, but that's why people work, so they can have comfort. If you're uncomfortable, it might actually give you some incentive to make changes to actually improve your life, right? If you make it too comfortable for people and just give them free everything, they're never going to change. They're just going to stay the way they are. And most of the time, those people take advantage of the free pad and the freebies. It becomes a party pad for everybody. Usually becomes party pads. And a camp can be monitored better, would be way more cost effective, and a camp would not be so comfortable to where they would really want to get used to that, right? But you give them a free pad, they're gold, right? They're gold. There's no incentive to do anything then, because everything's given to them. Whoa, shit, dude. Look at this guy. Just cut him off. What an a-hole. Unreal. People suck. Anyways, Yeah, there we go. Anyways, you know, there's a lot of rhetoric. They're getting mad at Trump because he wants to do something a little more economical and, you know, not make it so comfortable for these people that don't do nothing to really help themselves. You know, they don't want to even try. You know, I get some people, they can't work, okay? There's you know, there's able-bodied people that are milking the system, okay? That are able-bodied physically and mentally, and they can get a job. Those are the people I'm talking about, okay? I'm not talking about people that have physical disabilities, mental disabilities, or people, you know, that unfortunately screwed their life up so much that they have like a long, you know, they can't get a job because of their record or something. They can't work. Okay, I get it. Okay, well, that's not an excuse though, really. I mean, if you do the crime, you do the time, and if you have to live in a camp, that was your choice because you're irresponsible, you know. But it's just, I'm trying to say is, it's not economical to keep putting people up that don't contribute anything to society. It just is not doable. And it's not fair to the people that sacrifice every day just so they can have what they have. And you know, so I think a camp, some of these camps are, maybe the homeless will actually like it more, you know. Maybe it'll be better for them. Who knows, right? Because, you know, when they're homeless, they make their own little camps anyways, right? And they seem happy as a clam doing that. Hell, I used to be in one of them camps when I was homeless. And when I look back on those times, those are fun times for me. And I know it was fun times for a lot of the people that were around me back then. Because I was there. It wasn't all that bad. Hell, I'm sure probably half the people that have got the Section 8 houses would rather have their old camp space back, really, to be honest. But they're not allowing that anymore, okay? So they're going to have government camps. That's what I'm hearing Trump is talking about. That, I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what they're complaining about. They're complaining about this online and on the news, these people on the left, that they're going to have camps for homeless people instead of like Section 8, which maybe that's a good idea, you know. I even had my own idea for homeless, you know, a solution. My idea was, you know, take old malls and stadiums and stuff, put the homeless people in there, okay, set it up to where they have their own little space in those places. But the thing is how do you fund something like that? Well, what you do is you give them all the free drugs and free alcohol and food that they want, free, okay? And then you put cameras, and in the stadiums you can have the bleachers, right? In the malls you have maybe like cameras everywhere you can see. And you charge people to watch these stadiums and malls, right? Because, you know, if you give them all the free drugs and alcohol and food, it's going to be a circus. It's going to be nothing but a party, you know. And you charge, you know, the public, people who want to pay to watch this. You take that money to fund the circus, right? That's my solution. So, hey, it would be pretty entertaining, you got to admit, man. If you know, put all them in a stadium and, on the ground, and then the bleachers could be for the people that paid to come in to watch the people do drugs and alcohol. You know, that would be entertaining, man. You know, give them things to do, like put a stage in there, you know, they can make a band or something, they can entertain. Just, you know, give them all the drugs and alcohol, make it like a party circus, you know. You know, that would be some entertainment, man. I would pay to see that. Shoot, you kidding me? I'd pay to see that. That'd be great. But that's a solution to the problem, right? I mean, whoa, we got the road blocked off here. That's a solution. That could be a solution, right? A very entertaining one. So let me pay attention to my driving here. We got a construction zone here. So, you know, there's other solutions besides doling out thousands, millions of dollars every month to buy people their own apartments. You know, those apartments cost the same as whatever other people would pay. Like if I was to rent an apartment, you know, I would pay it myself, but you know what? The government pays for the apartment for these people. And, you know, they don't get no cuts on the price. They get charged just like everyone else would. Except the government just robs the money from taxpayers and uses it on them. You know? So, well, maybe they get a little break on the price of the apartment, but I don't think it can be that much. There's got to be something in it for the government, I'm sure. But, you know, I was thinking, you know what? I think a camp, these homeless camps would be, I think, better all around, because you're not making it so comfortable that they would want to make a career out of it, right? Because it's a camp. Who wants to be in a camp their whole life, right? And they'll have programs to get, if they want to get back into society, they can get help getting back into society and get jobs where, like, if you're not going through the system, like, you know, like you go through the system, so they'll find you a job, like job placement type stuff, you know. And you know that they would have that option there. Okay, if they don't want to be in the camp, they'll have the option to get job placed, and then they'll have to be responsible to make their money to get their own place or rent a room off somebody and get out of the camp. But when you give somebody their own place and everything paid for, food, utilities, they're not going to have incentive to do anything but just whatever got them there in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Probably drugs and alcohol, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? You can't just make their life too comfortable, because then they're just going to make that their life. Why work when they don't have to, right? Or why contribute to society when they don't have to? Why bother to try to take care of themselves when they don't have to, when the government will do it for them? Just saying. And if they're going to do that, then they should make it where people like me, if I just simply get tired of playing the game, get tired of taking care of myself, I can just choose to do that instead. Okay, just let the government take care of me without questions asked. That should be available then for me. You know? Well, you gotta screw yourself up to get it, and then you get it? No, that's not fair. You know? Well, you know, I used to do drugs and alcohol, and you know, I probably diminished my memory power to a certain extent. Do I qualify? Doubt it, because I chose to be responsible and take care of myself. Then that automatically disqualifies me, even though the damage is still there. You know what I'm saying? Even though I still have to live with what I did to myself. But now, since I've worked and proved I can work, that disqualifies me then, right? But I still have to live with what I did to myself, you know, and the damage I've done to myself, mostly my memory stuff, you know. I do have some memory issues from all the drugs and alcohol I used to drink, and it has held me back in certain things when it comes to my job. It has. but that's not enough to where I can get a free ride. You know what I'm trying to say? So anyways, I got to go to work and take care of myself because the government ain't going to take care of me, you know? So anyways, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening to me rant and rave. And I hope you all have a great day. And we'll catch you later. See ya.